Hey everyone, I am about to do a video about Choose Your Legends and what I think the candidates are going to look like coming up in a couple weeks when we have the winners revealed in their new outfits and such. But I wanted to give a little bit of a warning because there may be some potential lore spoilers for a few of them. It's not anything like that people probably would not know, specifically geared around Soren, and I guess maybe Goldfig if you don't know, if you're not caught up. Just be aware, watch with caution, and I hope you enjoy. Okay, go watch the video now. See ya. Hey everyone, welcome back. You're probably thinking one of two things. First, yeah, my face is actually like normal-ish looking again, because I actually took time to get a haircut and also manage all the growth that was here. Second, it's August, and that means Fire Emblem Heroes is about to celebrate its half anniversary, also known as Choose Your Legends season. So back in February, I think, or January? Early year. We voted, we got results, and now the units are coming home to roost, okay? So who we have happening here, we're gonna have Soren, Goldfig, Male Robin, and Lady Corrin. All right, I'm gonna go through what I think the units could actually look like as far as movement, weapon type, things like that. And if, you know, maybe my hopes and dreams could also be established here, that would be great. More than likely, it will be underwhelming because a lot of these characters are very popular or have been voted for years, or just want to see the whole thing burn. Whatever it is that they represent, there's a lot of buildup this year specifically. And it's also a very diverse cast, which, you know, whenever a new game comes out, that typically doesn't happen. So like next year, for example, I would imagine there's a handful of engaged characters up for dunkage here. So yeah, let's just enjoy it because it's diverse and it's fun, and it may be, you know, engage Emblem next year. We don't know. But for now, this is what we have. So I'm gonna kick things off with Corrin, because I feel like Corrin is like, I don't want to say my least anticipated, but kind of my least anticipated. And the reason is that, I mean, you can see here, we have just a lot of Corrin alts, you know, which is fine. You know, I like Corrin. I think of all the avatars, right? I think Corrin or Byleth might be my favorite, at least design wise, although Robin's really cool too. Either way, the point is, yeah, Corrin's been done over so many times, you know, and it feels like what are we gonna see now, you know? So my hope is that we just get a really baller dragon. I know. I hope we get a really baller dragon, because I feel like that's the least creative possible option, and it's likely direction they will go. So I feel like, because like a remixed legendary Corrin is happening soon-ish, right? And so my concern is that they're gonna make something good on Brave Corrin that will somehow be integrated into like a weapon refined for remixed legendary Corrin down the road. And then they'll basically be the same, but at least if the dragon transformation is sick during the battle sequence, then that will be cool. But more than likely, we will just get another dragon Corrin. We have seen some other stuff though. Like, you know, we've seen Ninja Corrin. We've seen Tome Corrin for her summer ult. Everything else is basically, I think, been a dragon of some kind. There is Yato, I guess. That's a possibility, but there's so many good sword options for the Brave picks this year that I just don't feel like Corrin is the strongest possible candidate for that, but maybe she is. I don't know. I would, however, think that if they wanted to get a little spicy with it, and I had this thought come to me last night as I was like trying to figure out like what would I actually want to see, right? I thought about it, an Azura nod, and I know what you're thinking. What would that entail? I think a songstress Soren, maybe with Azura's lance, since she's never getting a weapon refined, could be something really cool. And we could get a dance. Maybe not like a full-on dancer type unit, but maybe something similar to like Brave Marianne, what they did with her, where her assist skill could be a dance, but it wasn't like you know what I mean? Like it wasn't 100% of the dance, but it was, but it like kind of borderline. Something like that, I think, could be really cool. And you know, I like the nod to Azura. I really don't want a Makoto nod. I don't want that, and I'm hoping that's not the case, because typically Lady Corrin is associated with Nor. Okay, and so I'm hoping it is not a Makoto nod, because we all know how I feel about Makoto here on this channel. She's plagued me for far too long. Next up, let's talk about Soren. So Soren actually has more ults than I remember, and most of them happened within the last year. We had Kids, which was a little bit longer than a year ago, and then we also had Kadane Soren earlier this year with the Kadane banner, which had Lind on it, which was so sick. But I also feel like he has a lot of untapped potential. Now, technically, the Soren that won here was Radiant Dawn, I believe. Does that make a big difference? Not really. Okay, probably not, right? But there are a couple of nods we could do here, and here's where some of the spoilers come into play. Just a little bit. So like a Flying Tome with like a Draco mount as a nod to Goldoa could be kind of cool, right? No particular reason why that one. I won't go that far into it, but yeah, it's something, kind of a cool nod there. I think another really sick option, and this is where all the sword options come into play. He has a certain support with a certain main character by the name of Ike. Okay, and it's one of the few possible options for Soren, for reasons. And I think giving him Ragnall could be like a really cheeky way to give a nod, because if you don't know about Soren specifically, he is going to live longer than a lot of his Grail mercenary companions, for reasons. And I think maybe if I left him Ragnall, I think that would be cool. Do I think that he would actually do that in real life? Is this just a headcanon? Right, exactly. But I think it would be cool. And I don't think Soren could actually lift Ragnall, so maybe he does like floaty powers with it. I don't know. The point is that he will probably just be a sage. But he has a lot of options, even just as a sage. He has the potential to be a really strong tome option. And he, I feel like, has the most potential out of any of the Brave candidates this year specifically. So I'm just excited to see what they do with him, to be honest. I am curious and excited. And it's not just because he's a Tellius character. That's only part of the reason. Next up, because I don't want this video to be like crazy long, let's talk about Robin. Yeah, I'm saving Goldfig for last. Exactly. Robin, my man. He's had a couple ults. One which was semi-recent with the brides, right? He was our free-to-play groom player that we got. Additionally, we had legendary Robin, not too long ago, within the last year or so. That's where we got Grandmaster, finally. No more Grima alts. It was Drew Grandmaster Robin. And then we've had a couple, previously throughout the years. I think ultimately, what everybody wants, for the most part, now that we got Grandmaster Robin in legendary form, I think the people really want Levin Sword. I thought like maybe it would be cool if he could wield falchion for some reason, like as a Crom nod. But then again, Crom is mainly depicted as having a bow these days, so I think that would be more of a Lucina thing maybe, but Lucina also has a bow a lot of the time. It's confusing. Who uses falchion in Awakening these days? Am I right? Warriors basically rewrote the whole script, making everything a bow for Lucina and stuff. Anyway, the point is, falchion plays a pretty big role in Awakening, and Crom is supposedly the inheritor prior to Lucina. So maybe we could have a falchion wielding Robin. That might be neat, right? But ultimately, I don't think they're gonna do that. I think they're probably gonna do Levin Sword, and I think they could do something kind of cool with it, like how they utilized legendary Lady Shez. So legendary Shez is actually a dagger, but she uses swords. Levin Sword is supposed to be this like magic sword that strikes at distance, right? Or close, doesn't really matter. But at distance, it would be cool. So, like, maybe... And I know we have 11 dagger in the game already, okay? Just stop. Let me be creative and dream, okay? Maybe they do, like, a close counter thing built into his A, like a preferred A skill, maybe. And they give him a Levin Sword, but it's actually a dagger, which also frees up color potential, as daggers can be pretty much any color. Right, and then he's able to like hit at a distance that affects res, kind of like Flame Lance does on Patrine or like some other weapons. I think Lady Blade also has adaptive damage. There's a handful of weapons that do that in the preferred area. So maybe it hits for res, kind of like how Levin Sword in the game would hit for resistance. You know what I mean? Like something like that would be cool. I would be on board with that, and I think it would be just creative enough to not be lame. But I mean, Robin is so iconic, and this is where I think characters like Robin and Corin fall a little bit short of characters like Soren, because they are so iconic that they have this kind of like predetermined interpretation of what they should be, but they still have some creativity room in there. Maybe they'll make him a bow. That would actually be hilarious. That would actually be so funny if they made him a bow. Anyway, let's talk about the Goldfig of it all. She was, I think, 3rd place overall, with almost 17,000 votes. That's pretty crazy. We have a lot of Goldfigs running around. And here's the complicated part, okay? And this is why I thought, when I saw that Goldfig and Freya were in the running after like the mid results came through, the early polls, I thought a character like that who was like a hero's antagonist is kind of cool. Similar to how they had to like rethink Veronica when she won in, I think, year 2 it was. They have to get creative with it. And I like making is sweat. Genuinely. The difference here between Goldfig or Freya is that we are still in the middle of Goldfig's story. Now, why they allowed her to be voted on like 2 months in is confusing. I think we had like maybe at most 2 story chapters with her at that point, maybe even just the one. I don't know if the second one had her in it at all. But point being, Brave Goldfig is somehow going to show up on a map for us during a story chapter where I would assume at this stage in the game, Goldfig is still trying to like end the world. So I don't know how they're going to do that. Like with Freya or even Veronica at one point, like it was a little less complicated because their stories for the most part had been like either expanded on or just outright over in the case of someone like Freya. This is still happening. And that's kind of funny. But we have a lot of Goldfigs, okay? We're at the point in the story now where we have, you know, obviously the main Goldfig, which is the Golden Seer, who is likely to be our colorless tome mythic in November-ish, sometime around there. We have Sather, who is a green tome, and we have the Seer, which I don't really know how to say her name, but she's a red tome. And they're basically all versions of Goldfig, right? Or I guess versions of Sather, either past form or future forms of Sather. All tomes, all calves. So the obvious choice is a blue tome Brave Goldfig, right? Wrong. Staff Goldfig. That's what I'm predicting specifically for Goldfig. I think they're going to make her a staff cav unit. A couple of reasons. One, it would basically be the same thing that they did for Veronica when she won in year 2, I think it was. And repeating something like that for another hero's antagonist would be incredibly classic okay? Straight up. Second, I think making her a staff unit would differentiate her enough from Goldfig, who is going to show up in November. Like, it's not for sure. Like, there have been some delays with you know, main antagonists. I think Hell was one, for example. She may not show up in November, but it's like a 98% chance that she does show up in November, okay? Like, you would be dumb to not bet that she's gonna show up, okay? So I think making her a staff, kind of making her this antithesis or contrarian version to the Goldfig we're so accustomed to now. Instead of like trying to destroy, we'd be healing and saving, and maybe you still have like time warp abilities where there's map warping and stuff on the map. You know, like something that would kind of like delve into the lore a little bit, but like twisting it just enough to make it interesting. Or we will get Blue Tome Goldfig, and that will complete the color cycle, and we could technically at some point have Goldfig Emblem, which is also a possibility. Lazy, but possible. So, those are just some ideas that I had, some thoughts that were rolling around in my noggin that I now put to you. So, share with me, and we may actually have a Fate channel tonight. Like, it may be happening tonight. And I will be live tonight, or this evening. I don't know if I'll be live for the Fate channel, if there is a Fate channel. But we'll see. Show up, find out. Who knows? I'm just going to do weekly gacha grinds and chill with chat, so it's very low-key, stress-free time. But that's it for me. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you hope to see from our Choose Your Legends winners this year, coming in like 2 weeks from now, which is PogChamp. Thanks again, and I will see you in the next one.